Okay, so we've had a bit of a look around the Maps app. We know how it works and we know how to use the interface. What about integrating it into our life? How do we make it useful? If we go into our search box, for example, and we want to look for a particular thing, we can just type in whatever we want. So we can look for stores, we can look for any particular place. Let's say, for example, Apple Store, and it will give us all the Apple stores in Sydney. So if I zoom right out and I zoom into Tasmania, for example, and I do another search for Apple stores and then press search, it will give me all things that are related to Apple. So obviously these aren't Apple stores, these results are just anything that contains the word Apple in it. So you do need to remember to be a little bit more specific. But what I wanted to illustrate is that if you zoom into an area and then perform a search, it will try and keep that search to that current area. Once you've gone and done some searches and you have a set of results, you can tap the little arrow. Then you'll be presented with further information. So you've got the phone number to an Apple store, for example, and then I can call them by pressing this icon here and it will just phone them directly. I've got their website address, I've got their physical address, which I can select to get directions to or from, and I've got a bit of other information. Now, you may not get this information for every search result. It just depends on whether it's a business and whether they've got that information listed. If we go down a bit further, you may find some pictures and reviews and popular apps that people use nearby. You can also create a new contact, add this entry into an existing contact, or report a problem. So it's basically the same as what we looked at previously. But let's say that I want to navigate to this particular address. So I would say navigate to here, and it will put that search result in the end address. But I need to have a start address. So I can either choose my current location, and that's not being presented because I've currently got location services disabled just for this exercise, or I can just tap on that start area box and I can type in an address. Another way to do it is to select cancel and put a drop pin down, go back to one of my stores, or I can use my current drop pin, select the blue card to commence turn-by-turn navigation, or I can just go into this little arrow, select directions to here, and you can see again it's populated that end field, and then in the start field I can just tap the drop pin. If location services are working on your phone, then you'll generally find your current location will be automatically entered into the start field. So I can do this if I want to perform turn-by-turn navigation from a dropped pin to a search result, which doesn't include my current location. And then I can just press route, and this will commence the turn-by-turn navigation. So from within here, I can select the drive tab, I can select the walk tab, which will attempt to create a walk path. And then I can tap apps, which will give me any relevant apps that it feels might be useful. I can clear this navigation. I've got this box up here which just lists the start and destination points. I can also flip them around. So if I want to go home, I can just press this little icon here and it will switch them around. I can press this little share icon, which doesn't give me a lot of options, just allows me to use AirDrop or to print. I've got some further information down the bottom about how long the journey will take. And if I press the little icon here, it puts all the turns in a list for me, so I can preempt where I need to go, or I can give somebody else instructions on where to turn. You can press the little eye in the bottom right, which takes us into that same area we were in previously, where you can switch views and look at the 3D map. You've got your current location icon, and then you can navigate around like you would normally, so you can do all the same things you would in the normal interface, and once you're comfortable that you've selected the right destination and start points, you would press start. This commences the navigation, and Apple Maps will talk to you and tell you that you need to turn at certain intersections. It also lists the turns up here, and we can swipe to go to the next turn and the next turn and so on, and each time we do that it will move the map so we can see that turn there in white, and if I swipe it moves us to the following turn. We can press overview, and that just takes us back to the view we were in previously. If we choose, we can also press 3D, which gives us that 3D view. We can zoom in, continue to tilt, and you can see the further in we zoom, it starts to rise the buildings out from the map. Whether you're in the normal maps view or whether you're in the navigation view, you can scroll around like I have been, and this will take the maps off your current location. So to go back to your current location, you press the little current location icon and it will keep the maps focused on where you're physically at. and update the maps as you move along. And it will do this both in the navigation view and in the normal maps view. So every time you scroll around manually like this, it will break that association, and the maps view will not go back to your current location until you press the current location button. So that's just a little tip to be aware of when you're navigating or using the Maps app. So that covers everything I need to show you with regards to maps. You can see that it's quite a useful feature. It's not overly complicated, but it may take you one or two goes to just get familiar with it.